special webinar, special overview of Awakenings University degree programs. We're calling it Your Path to Earning a Bachelor's, Master's, or Doctorate degree from Awakenings Institute, which Jane and I are co-founders of. And have you ever thought of getting a degree that really reflects all your learning in life, in the classroom, out of the classroom, the valuable things you've learned, uh, and really getting recognition for it in a way that is meaningful, that has integrity? Well, that's what we're talking about in Awakenings Institute new paradigm, this paradigm of learning that may take a few minutes to wrap your head around, and we'll explain that. And I think you'll get a sense of it as we go along here, um, on what we're talking about on our introduction to Awakenings degree programs and the benefit from this new holistic educational program. And when you get a sense of it, it makes perfect sense. You wonder why things are not this way more widespread. But like a lot of new things, it takes time. Uh, and once people find out about it, the right person, they find it extremely meaningful and valuable. As if you're tuning into this, I think you will too. And your spirit can really soar when you align with your education on this deeper level, because the possibilities are so expansive. And there's actually a huge gap in society's model for higher education. We'll talk about some of the holes in it, of what is missing, because when you get a degree from Awakenings Institute, you can tailor it to your own spiritual field. I'll give you an example here, show you some of the areas that you can get majors. Jane, you want to just pop in and say hello and introduce yourself as I'm putting that up?
Sure. I'm Jane Mountrose. I'm the co-founder and co-director of Awakenings Institute. And just as a kind of a summary of who we are a holistically oriented nonprofit organization that has been in existence since the 1990s. And it's been quite a journey for the two of us, looking at creating things that are of value for people
Mm-hmm.
over things that are just ways to achieve diplomas or degrees. One example in our coaching and healing programs, which a lot of people are involved with, uh, many people offer these kind of intensive courses, like in 12 or in 12 days you can become a life coach, or you can become a holistic hypnotherapist, or whatever it is. And it is possible to attend classes for 12 hours a day for 10
Mm-hmm.
days and get a diploma or a certificate. The problem is that you can't integrate and really
Right.
into what you understand and who you are in that period of time. So all of our programs have been designed to optimize the value that they provide to participants. And for instance, our coaching and healing program is a 1 year program. So rather than trying to put it all into 12 days and just so that people can get a certificate, we put it into a year, along with a lot of opportunities to practice and for students to actually get to know each other and work together. Um, it is in addition to providing a certificate, it is a transformation for people. That's what we want, is really to provide in-depth training in whatever the topic is.
Right. Right. And do you want me to go back to the potential majors, Jane?
Sure.
Yeah, let me show that again. I just briefly showed it. But if you do get a degree or want to get a degree from Awakenings Institute, bachelor's, master's, or doctorate, and it would be in divinity, you would tailor it to the holistic and spiritual field you wanted to pursue: pastoral or spiritual counseling, holistic hypnotherapy, energy healing, religious studies, or another spiritual field of interest tailored to your uniqueness and skills. So it's flexible on something that means something interesting to you. And Pamela, I know, who's here, wrote into us about her own if you don't mind sharing a little bit about her own, gaps in her education. And a lot of people fall into this category. We asked to our email, our subscriber list, about something in their education or career journey that you wish you had been recognized or validated. So this is about being recognized and validated. And most of us have not had that at a deep level, or perhaps much at all. And Pamela shared that she had a passion for us. She has a passion for esoteric studies and has always dreamed of earning an official degree in the field. And a part of me has felt some regret that I did not complete my registered nurse degree instead of settling as a diploma nurse. To me, having a recognized degree in esoteric studies would not only validate the seriousness of my lifelong pursuit, but also highlight the level of my dedication and knowledge.
Right.
Since studying mysticism for over 3 decades, I see a degree as the perfect crowning achievement. And a lot of us who have studied and learned many things, but not been recognized or integrated it, this is a perfect outlet, individual, customized degree, a very valid legal degree, not an accredited degree. So it's not a degree where you can get a bachelor's from Awakenings and then get a master's from an accredited institution, but it is a valid legal degree for the right person who wants that degree and recognition, as we'll explore. Jane, did you want to continue with any of the brief overview of Awakenings Institute? Or
Yeah.
was there any further
Yeah.
you wanted to add to that?
As I suggested, we've been around for quite a while. We were founded in the 1990s, and so we've been here for 3 decades. We also went through the whole process of being registered as a spiritual organization with the IRS, a 501c3 nonprofit, in 2005, um, which was meaningful to us on many levels, and also for helpful for the people who are working with us. So we've always focused on spiritual healing and transformation through programs we offer. Also, a very deep, holistic approach, meaning not just like eating healthy. A lot of people think holistic is eating healthy and exercising and those things, which is great. What we're looking at is the deeper physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual levels of healing,
Right.
with the deepest and most complete and most profound actually being spiritual. So, a spiritual kind of holistic approach to us is, you could say, the best solution or the ultimate solution if you're wanting to approach these areas. In addition to working with clients personally, as I mentioned, we have programs. We feature spiritual life coaching, healing, counseling, becoming a spiritual guide. In these times right now that we're in, which is a very transformative time, where we're customizing our programs for this time. It's kind of interesting. Some institutes, they develop a program and it's the same year after year.
Mm-hmm.
That's not us. Actually,
No.
we used to think that, what's wrong with us? We keep having to change what we're doing. And after a while, I realized that that's a sign, that's a good sign that we're learning and growing. And as the times are changing and people are opening much more, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that the energy helps us to facilitate deeper levels of healing with more ease than probably when we started in the 90s. So we now realize that it's a good thing, and we are continuing even now to customize every program, every bit of every
Mm-hmm.
program that we teach as we go along.
Right.
um, Awakenings Institute also offers an ordination program to help spiritual leaders to support their communities on that level. So there's a lot going on. And of course, now here we're talking about our university program.
Right. And I want to talk a little bit about how Awakenings University degree programs fit into our mission and how it can help you. And we'll have a direct experience here because we are talking about this new paradigm in education. So it takes a few minutes to wrap your head around what we're going to share that you would actually be doing in your degree program. And when you understand it, it becomes an integral part of your spiritual evolutionary journey. It's not just taking classes.
Right.
When I was a special education teacher years ago, I needed to get a degree um, to
A
be a
master's. Yeah.
master's for that. And it was something I had to do. It wasn't really very useful or meaningful, hardly at all. So it was, quote, a requirement. And a lot of people, their traditional training is imposed learning on them that you really have very little interest in or use for. Whereas if you would create your own curriculum on things you truly are interested in that are useful, inspiring, and practical, that's what Awakenings Institute paradigm customizes to you individually. So it really differs from the traditional approach. And we could do a little brief visualization here to get a sense of this. Um, and if you want, and if you're in a place you can close your eyes, uh, just to get a feeling for this, if you breathe and relax and just imagine all that you've learned over this lifetime, just get a sense of that. You may get a flash of some of the classrooms you've been in, some of the degrees or certificates you have, some of the aha learnings, some of the really wonderful trainings you've had, maybe some of the life lessons, like what you've learned by jobs or roles or experiences you've had. You've had tremendous deep learning and lessons from that too, of course. Imagine all of that just being gathered somehow in your being. And if you could organize that into sort of a classroom training and put it into a nice, flexible form, which out of that you'd have a degree. It would be a symbol representation and very practical, a practical degree recognized, showing that you completed those inside and outside learnings. And that is a degree you really can be proud of. That is meaningful. That is a wonderful achievement. And as you kind of sense achieving that degree, having that representation, you have a smile on your face, you have love in your heart, and you just have a general sense of gratitude that, wow, your life has offered you all these opportunities to learn that you have done and grown through the ups and downs and twists and turns and jewels of learning, the treasures that have made you more aware, more loving, conscious, creative in this lifetime. Beautiful. So I'm going to count from 5 and you can come back just using this sense of all that you've accomplished in this life, all that you've learned. 1, 2, using this experience any way you want. 3, removing anything you don't want. 4, ready to open your eyes. And 5, returning with that sense of all you have indeed accomplished and recognizing now in yourself. And it would be nice to get some external to it. Before I kind of show some of the detailed points, Jane, did you want to add anything to that before I
Not
go into
just
some
no.
details?
No,
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah. So let me turn this into some specifics of what you experienced perhaps in that visualization uh, about how our program at Awakenings differs from traditional degree offerings. So your spiritual practices and life experiences are valued as highly as traditional education. So things that you do in life that are really meaningful to you in your everyday life, you would actually be part of your education. And also courses and learning from outside traditional university settings are given real value. So you probably have certificates, maybe you have studied healing modalities, Reiki, or other things that are very valuable to you. And that would be considered part of your university credits. Also in our offerings, you have a lifetime of self-taught knowledge and skill, and that's recognized and integrated into your program. You learned a lot on your own through your job, through your life challenges. Further, you could determine the nature of your own educational experience. So you could customize this in a way that would be reflective of who you truly are and what you've learned and what you're proud of and your goals. So you can see that you could get quite a bit of results from that paradigm, that approach to training. And it would highlight the difference between like you at that point having a degree versus someone, like I said, myself, my younger self being imposed upon to have a degree because you were required to do it. It didn't really have a lot of value. it maybe was a requisite for something, a job or something, but it didn't have any personal transformative deep value to you for you. Jane, you want to add anything to that, or just give a brief history of, of of our Awakenings Institute? The
Well,
Therese.
just to go back to when you got your master's in
Mm,
education, special education, uh, I remember asking you how many things had real value, and and as I recall, you didn't really feel that
mhm,
many things had real value. It wasn't just that they were things that you had to learn, which would be great if actually you have to learn them because they're going to be of value in what you're doing. Philip was already teaching. Um, that wasn't the case. So we're looking then at, okay, if that is often the case, and also so many people who have spiritual gifts and gifts in areas where they're just not recognized in any kind of standard educational format.
right.
You have to look at the the possibility that people could receive the same kind of recognition and do it in a different way. That's what we're looking at. And the program that we offer is not, it wasn't like one day we decided, well, we're going to have Philip and Jane's University, and here we are. It actually is based on a format, and I'm going to describe it. It's a formula for life learning and higher education that was originally developed in 1994. We do have a complete handbook that guides you through the whole program. What I think is interesting, if you look at the history, is that we credit actually the brilliance of it to an organization that we worked with back in the 90s called UIL, the University for Integrative Learning of AIWP, which is the Association for the Integration of the Whole Person. It's also a nonprofit organization, as we are, through which we were able to be ordained and trained in this actually how to implement this program. This, which we describe in the manual, is a contemporary foundation that, or yeah, there was a contemporary foundation that was laid in 1964
Mhm.
when the elementary and secondary departments of Harvard's School of Education and the Union for Research and Experimentation in Higher Education decided to initiate alternative and innovative programs. This one expanded along diverse paths during the next quarter of a century, and UIL, which I just mentioned, its predecessors began also in 1968 and continued to follow their mission of ensuring that all learners would have access to this kind of enlightened model for education, which is interesting if you also just look at the idea that this institute does not have students, it has learners for our higher degree programs. And that's because everything is self initiated. And that might sound confusing at first, but it's all done in a step by step format and it's guided individually. So you have each student or each learner has a provost. You would call a guide maybe through the program who walks them through each step. So it's not like you wonder, well, how is this going to happen? You don't have to worry about that. It really is beautiful. Um, Written in our handbook, it says history alone does not convey the mysteries and richness of the alternative educational journey. An artist's canvas of this journey would show thousands of strokes, shades, and colors representing contributions many individuals have made. AIWP blazed new trails pursuing this educational form. In the process, their efforts to develop this truly alternative learning system have created a dynamic, evolving form of higher education that you now have the opportunity to explore. It's kind of like, what is a university that has no classroom? It's interesting, with programs that are being individually orchestrated to provide validation of what a person already has gained, as well as an opportunity for spiritual transformation in going through the program. And this is one of the things that I really love about it, is that it it is in part because of the nature of the program. It's a way of for people to examine what they have gained in their lives. So in other words, what have you learned that maybe nobody even knows about, or that certainly has not received any recognition, but has made you who you are? And in that process, people, their whole perception of themselves changes. It's kind of like looking at all of these things that you never really considered because no one placed a value on them, and you were trying so hard to match some kind of an ideal that maybe had nothing to do with who you are. So there are no classrooms. Students are actually called learners because they're self-empowered. And as I mentioned, also, um, it's carefully orchestrated to provide maximum value. So while the learner is looking at how to look at how to view things in their lives, we're guiding them through processes that help them to reach into places they may not even consider themselves.
Right.
And also, in as part of being in the program, reaching into new areas of spiritual um, discovery, you could say, that they never considered before. So it's an opportunity that is, from what I've experienced, unlike anything else that I've
Mm-hmm.
seen. Um, and of course, just the idea that uh, you don't have to worry about how it's going to happen because you have someone who's walking side by side with you every step of the way until you receive your degree.
Right.
And there
And
was one other thing I think that I really enjoy about it, because we have obviously generally very spiritual people who are taking the programs, and with a bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degree, each degree requires a major study, right? So within that, we can help people to create things that they may be able to use to expand what they're doing in their spiritual work, to create programs, so that you come away also with something new. You might write a book about something you've wanted to write about for years. Um, and it offers a lot of opportunities that are very unique.
just practically so you'd understand it, wherever you are educationally, if you don't have a bachelor's, you'd start there, or if you haven't completed a bachelor's, if you have a bachelor's, you'd start with the master's of divinity, and if you have a master's, you'd go for your doctorate, and you can combine them like a bachelor's, master's, doctorate too. There's different ways we can do that.
Right. And I guess another there's so many different things that you can focus on. Another benefit is you can take this degree program from the convenience of your home or office, with no travel involved, pretty much anywhere in the world. So there are no limits in terms of where you have to be. The schedule is determined by you along with us. Um, so it can be tailored to the way that your mind works, your own pace, and your schedule for what times, how the whole thing can best be orchestrated. And then, as I mentioned, you can end up with something tangible to show for it that represents you, with our support.
Right. Yeah. It could be a very special conclusion to like a satisfying, deeply gratifying experience for you, representation. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting. Now you can write a book and have it published and print on demand, and you can have something that's published and actually is offered to the world very
Hmm.
easily.
Yeah.
If
Some
you
people
compare
do
it,
that.
when we started in the 90s, actually, we wrote books and we had to store them, in our garage. Now it's print on demand. It's so easy.
So we want to talk a little more specifically as we're getting close to closing about who these programs are for. And many people have taken a degree program with, as we've mentioned, not much to show for it. And sometimes, they are very proud of it and they're happy of it too. It's not
Right.
always the
Yeah.
case. We don't want to
Right.
say that as always, but in case it hasn't been, this is a nice alternative. For sure it will be meaningful to you because you're tailoring and designing it with your provost. So it's a great opportunity to empower yourself and get your precise learning goals, especially people who are more mature, who have a sense of what they really want, and they're not just starting off and getting imposed goals from a university. This could, I think, would be very important for them to reach the goals and the heights they want to achieve. So to discuss who the programs are for, to sort of map this out, let me get that. Uh, Anyone who wants a degree that's meaningful, people who have no college degree, or maybe they have some existing college credits, like we mentioned earlier, and they wish they had finished the degree. Those who'd like recognition in areas that honor their unique skills, and for learners ready to rise to the highest potential with a program representative of their learning goals and all the guidance needed to make this a reality for them. So with all that in place, for the right person, this can be a very good next step. And also, it's very affordable compared to traditional university tuition. I think you'll find that much more reasonable. Jane, did you want to add anything to that?
No, I feel like we've covered it pretty well for an introduction.
Yeah, and let me just give a quote from one of our graduates to give you a sense of how she found the program very fulfilling. Excuse me about that. And she found the program gave her deep insights. Not only did I learn new knowledge, but I also developed greater wisdom and a broader understanding of life. My provost, Jane Mountrose, did an excellent job guiding me through the program. If you're concerned that your life may interfere with your own education, you'll be in good hands with Awakening Institute's program to get the time and help you need. Jocelyn Gagnon, she's a counselor and a graduate. So what's the next step if this sounds like something that you're interested in? Go to getting through, that's thru.org/degree. There's more information. There's a way to contact us. There's a free introductory manual there you can download, and you can also contact us directly there. So Jane, anything we want to add before we can conclude the introduction to Awakening's degree programs? It is a legal degree. It's not, as I said, accredited, but so therefore you wouldn't, if you got a master's from us, you couldn't go to a traditional university and then get a doctoral, but it is a legal degree from our nonprofit organization in the United States.
It feels pretty complete to me.
That feels good. Well, it's great being with you. We look forward to connecting with some of you who are here or watching the replay, and let us know if you have any questions. And it was great being with everyone and sharing about Awakening.